Hey there, second graders. We are starting topic 13 in your math today. And I think you're going to be pretty excited because there's no purple pages to begin with, which means there's no review words. We're using all the same vocabulary from the last topic, from topic 12 with measurement. So you can still do review what you know, which is on page 760 in your workbook. If you don't have your workbook, you need to stop the video right now. Go get your workbook and your pencil, because that's the whole point, is you're doing math with me, okay? 760, there's some review questions there. You circle the measuring unit that's better to estimate the length of a room. So just to review, you've got meter and centimeter. Centimeter means there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So that's a little tiny measurement, right? Remember what that looked like on your ruler? So if you have a big room, like your dining room or your living room that you want to be able to measure, do you think you should measure it in centimeters or in meters? That's a review question for you. So you would want to do that in meters because otherwise you would be measuring for a very long time with a very big number. Circle the number of feet in a yard. Well, that's just plain review, and I'm not going to go over that answer because you need to know that. So hopefully if you don't know what the answer is, you're going to go back in your last unit and look it up and have parents check through. So there's a time one in there. There's an estimating one in there. There's comparing, and that's where you get the teeth. Remember, we said it eats the bigger number. So that's what you're going to do there. And it says label the two missing lengths of the sides of a rectangle. Remember, in the sides of a rectangle, if they give you two of the sides, you can predict what the other two sides are because they're going to be the same on the opposites. So if this one up here is, let's just say this one's 5, this one's 5. If they give you one of the sides over here a 3, this would be a 3. Okay, so that's just a little bit of review for you, and then you are going right into lesson 13-1, and this is adding or subtracting using measurements. So again, just to review, if you have one of the sides of a square, you have all of the sides of a square because all the sides are the same. But if it's a rectangle, you need one of the sides over here, and you need the bottom or the top in order to get the measurements for all of the sides. So let's see, on page 761, you have to use your ruler, and what you're going to do is measure. Now, I would say you can measure the top or the bottom because they're both going to be the same. You're going to get that number. And then you should also measure the side. So let's just say, because I haven't measured it yet, let's just say when you do measure, you get a measurement of 10 for the top. I'm not telling you that's what it is, so you actually need to measure because it's not going to be 10. If you get a measurement for 10 for the top and maybe you get a measurement of 5 for the sides, what would it look like? So let me just take a second to draw that for you. Okay, so you see my shape here. If they give you here these, they give you one of these, let's go back, Mrs. Vedic, go back. If they give you this one, you know this one is the same, right? If they give you this one, you know this one is the same. So it's asking you, how can you find what the measurement is all the way around? We want the total distance all the way around, okay? If coach asked you to run it and you wanted to know the distance, you would have to add those all up, right? So you can do the 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5 and get to that. Now, the cool thing is you guys know how to count by 10s and 5s. So this might be a little bit easier, right? 10 plus 10 is 20. So if I did that, that becomes 20. Plus the 5 and 5 is 10. So now 20 plus 10 is 30. Aren't you glad that I made you do that? In all those units, you had to do a lot of mental math, right? Okay, so again, that's how you do that kind of a problem. And you're going to do that on page 761. And then you have more problems just like this one. And I think it's going to be relatively easy for you. If you start to struggle, remember you can contact me for a one-on-one meet for math. I am pushing the math meet not on Tuesday, but all the way to Thursday because I need you guys to be watching the videos first and trying some of this stuff before you say that you actually require a little bit of assistance. But if you truly are stuck, please let me know and I'll help. So do some of those problems. Do the guided, some of the guided, do some of the independent, and have mom or dad or grandma or grandpa check. And then I want you to go to 13-2 for today and take a peek. This is finding unknown measurements. So let's look at 767. Open your book to 767. Julie and Steve each cut a piece of yarn. The total length of both pieces of yarn is 12 centimeters. Use centimeter cubes to measure each piece of yarn. Well, you guys have rulers. Circle Julie and Steve's pieces and then explain your thinking. Okay. So you have orange yarn, you have purple yarn, and you have green yarn. So you need to find the measurements of those things, and you can use your centimeter ruler. So make sure you have that. If you didn't use the rulers last week and all of a sudden you can't find your ruler, remember they're in the math section on the Google Classroom. All you have to do is click on the materials in the math folders that say rulers, and there's a centimeter ruler in there that you can print if you need to print. So because the yarn is bent on those, you need to actually get each of the lengths. Let me show you what I mean by that. So let's pretend this is my ball of yarn, and then they give you one that looks like this, right? So you have to actually take your ruler and you're going to measure this length here, and you're going to get a number. I'm just going to call it 3 just to give an example. And then you're also going to do this. Say you got 3 here. So if it's asking you for the length, the total length, you would have to add 3 plus 3 equals 6 centimeters. And don't forget that you're working in centimeters. And that would be cm for centimeters. Okay? So then if you look through, this is what they're asking you to do. Let's look at the guided practice for just a minute. Number 1 in the guided practice says, a stamp measures 2 centimeters in length. How many centimeters long are 2 stamps? So if you need to, you can make a picture and you can draw those 2 stamps, and it tells you the length of one of them is 2, and if you're going to have 2 of them side by side, you would do 2 plus 2 equals, and it would give 4 centimeters. And then number 2, Stuart's desk is 64 centimeters long. His dresser is 7 centimeters longer than his desk. So how long is his dresser? These are real math problems that your parents use all the time. Like if you move into a different room and you have a bed and you want to know if the bed is going to fit, you're going to measure. This is the way that you're going to do it. So if you want to know how long that is, you have to take the 64 centimeters and then you have to add the 7 centimeters onto it. And then you'll come up with an answer of how many centimeters that is. Okay. The other problems that are in here are also word problems. So don't get tricked up on some of the names. You know, we all have names that are different from each other, and some of the names are names that we don't have around where we live, but I don't want you to get stuck on a math problem because of the reading. So if you see a word that you're not sure of and it has a capital letter in one of these math problems, most likely it's a name. Don't just substitute a word for that. Say your own name if you want. So for example, let's look at number 3. The first word is Felipe. Now you might not know a Felipe, and that's okay, but you can put your own name in there, right? Mrs. Bailey's pencil box is 24 centimeters long. Joe's pencil box is 3 centimeters shorter than Felipe's. How long is Joe's pencil box? Okay. In this one, are you adding or are you subtracting with your numbers? You have to subtract. Yeah. Because it says Joe's is 3 centimeters shorter. And I put my name in there, Mrs. Bailey. But you can put your name in all of these math problems and it would be totally fine. So you would subtract. So it has to be 24 minus 3 equals, and what you get for the answer is blank centimeters. And you're going to do your own work here, so I'm not going to give you the answer. But that's how you would do that, okay? As far as where else you are going in this unit, for today you are just practicing 13-1 and 13-2. Don't go any further than that for today, okay? Practice those and have somebody check your work, and I'll catch up with you on Wednesday for some more math.